This is Stu Taylor, and joining me right now is Simon Christopher Hopkinson. He's the CEO and Executive Director of International Petroleum Limited. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're in the limelight, like it or not. Energy is a big topic of conversation. Tell us a little about International Petroleum, what you do, your business model, and where you're located.
Okay, International Petroleum is, we have our headquarters in London. We're Australian listed, and our assets are primarily in Russia and Kazakhstan, so pretty international. We have 4 fields in the Western Siberian region of Russia, and we have a large exploration license in Kazakhstan, the ITPLY basin, which is on the eastern border of Kazakhstan and China.
You bring this up, so I can't resist the temptation of talking about horizontal drilling, fracking, shale gas, and what Russia is doing. I know you're not here as a representative of Russia, but what's your opinion about tapping into those oil reserves, the extensive work, the huge cost of going into the Arctic and looking for places that have not been explored because of the supply and demand situation, and what some see is not an infinite supply. It's the old story of organic versus inorganic, but it looks like it's a finite supply. What's your take on that?
Well, my take on it is that since the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia has been relying heavily on the big fields with the good properties, and they've been producing very, very well for a long time for them. Russia has an enormous amount of reserves. One of the issues has always been that they're stranded reserves. They're a long way away from market in the middle of a massive landmass. And they're getting to a stage now where the more difficult to recover reserves, and in fact within the Russian system they call them difficult to recover reserves, are becoming more and more interesting. Now, from the government's point of view, the big companies have not been doing a good job at looking at those difficult to recover reserves, so they're not building up the know-how and the technology that they need to develop them economically. And so what they're doing is they're looking at the smaller companies who are willing to take the risk to build that knowledge base up.
What are some of the challenges of working in Russia? It's got to be a challenging situation.
Well, a lot of people get scared off by working in Russia. I've worked in Russia for 10 years. I initially started there with Yukos. I've worked for Lukoil. I was CEO of Imperial Energy, which was a London-based company. And now I'm there with International. And so I know the system very, very well. And one of the things that I've always liked about Russia is that it's a highly regulated oil and gas business. And as long as you follow the rules and you don't make too many waves, there are not going to be any real issues.
So you have a timetable for your company and what you hope to achieve, that is International Petroleum.
Well, International Petroleum is just this winter period. We've been hydraulically fracturing 9 wells. We've still got 2 to go, or 2 are in the process. And so by the end of May we're going to go into production. So from my point of view that's great, because we're no longer an exploration company, we become an E&P company.
Exploration to production, that's where you want to be.
Which is exactly where we want to be. So we will, in the 2013 season, be going into development activities, so development drilling, building up our production base within Russia. And we're also actively looking at other opportunities outside Russia to spread our portfolio risk, predominantly in Africa.
I wish you great luck doing it. How do you like the HiAlpha Energy Conference put on by RB Milestone?
Well, so far I've been busy. Had my first one-on-one at 8:30 this morning. I've just given my presentation, corporate presentation, and now I'm sitting here with you.